Okay, I've been commissioned to create this device he's watching now, and by the way, if anybody's interested in this, I've made a lot of videos on this, including countless experiments of seed exposure to South Pole magnetism and also North Pole, and these are actually listed in great detail. This is actually a banned book, literally a banned book. The only reason you can actually find it now is because of me in digital form. It's the Magnetic Blueprint of Life, and the early book, Magnetism's Effects and Living System by Rawls and Davis. Did a lot of biological experiments, and so have I, including also on water, but mostly seed exposure. Let's take a look at the first diagram, and this is, like I said, my commissioned, invented device based upon simplicity being divinity, the easiest way to make this. You gotta understand my chicken scratch. We actually have 10mm plywood on top. These are the 2x2 by 1-inch neodymium N42 Gauss magnets. South Pole, obviously here. Here we have our 1.5-inch PVC. Placement is critical, and I've actually shown proper placement along dead center line of PVC. These are placed at 1-foot intervals. This, of course, is a side view. These are 1-inch squared spacers to keep the alignment of the 4-foot to 6-foot stretch of PVC so it doesn't actually bow inwards or outwards. And around those, secured at the top, these are screw straps. So what is actually securing the PVC to the spacers, which are wood glued to the 10mm plywood, are screw straps. Those are metal screw straps. They're very durable. Also, you don't want to make them completely tight, since you want to, after half-hour interval, rotate this 180 degrees. These PVC are what the seeds are being placed in. Alignment is critical. As I said here, this is placed along the South Pole centrifugal edge. If you actually place them here, you get different effect if you place them at dead center of the magnet, or even right here. I've noticed and done countless experiments showing that the effects are different, so they need to be along south centrifugal edge, the center line of the PVC. Down here we actually have 1/2-inch plywood. Another alternative could be used, but to keep down weight, a minimum of 1/2-inch plywood. Actually 1-inch plywood, since this is going to be a 5-foot run, might be more appropriate. The only actual weight we actually have here is not in the PVC or these 1-inch squared spacers or in the seeds that are actually placed in the tube, but in the 2x2 by 1-inch neodymium blocks placed in the array. These are obviously screwed in right here, so this entire structure will be screwed in, and the magnets would be fed down this tube between the plywood sandwich. Okay, so these are screwed in. These triangular spikes represent being screwed in. The 1-inch spacers take no stress or strain. We want to use wood glue on that. Also, we would not want to use any sort of ferrous material right here, since that would actually distort the field. These are out of the way. This is no issue with distortion. These are the actually only metal other than the metal screw straps. So the only metal are these four. Well, there's actually more than 4 screws since it's a 5-foot run, but these 4 placements at these 4 points, and also the screw straps, which are only used at 1-foot intervals along the run of the seed exposure device. And let's go to a top-down view. This is a 4 to 6 row, and I would actually not make it more than 4 feet. Of course, PVC comes in, 6 foot. I bought a lot of PVC, so I got tons of PVC laying around here. I use them for light moths. This is top plate down. Obviously, we have end caps. These want to be screw caps, or you could actually use industrial hook and loops to just use pop-on caps. They're not taking any stress or strain other than the load of the seeds, since this will be at like an incline, and lift it off to the ground to keep the seeds from spilling out. We can actually use hook and loops placed over top of these pop-on end caps. They don't need to be screw caps. The top end caps actually serve no purpose other than to prevent the spillage in case the device were to get knocked over. Obviously, this is not the scale. It's a 4 to 6 foot run. This is our base 1/2-inch plywood. These are our 1-inch squared plywood spacers. These little devices represent the metal screw straps So at every foot run, obviously since there'd be a 4 to 6 foot run, obviously this is not the scale since I only have 3 of these here. This would only represent, well, this represents about 4 feet. But yeah, placement at every 1 foot interval, and these of course are our 1.5 inch PVC tubes that seeds would be placed in. Obviously this is top-down view, so our 2x2 by 1 inch neodymiums are underneath here that are fed vertically. That are fed through the base sandwich between the plywood, and then they, of course, they would need to be end capped. Of course, you have to be very careful that they don't slide out or slam into each other, because they will actually break your finger. They will break your finger. Very important, too, that the person that's watching this has already ordered the N42. You want N42 because N50, the field is more shallow. The people don't realize the smaller the space, the higher the capacitance. People think, well, if an N42 is good, then an N50 is better. No, 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 no. You want N42 Gauss 2x2 by 1 inch neodymium blocks, because the field has a larger spatial footprint, and that helps influence the exposure of the seeds to the south magnetic pole, so they actually grow differently. There's actually a person out in Colorado that legally grows a pot, and he's actually done this experiment on his seeds, and he's been nearly crying in happiness over the results. Here we go. This is actually a side view when you do some sort of 2x4 structure, such that it is off the ground with a collection device at the bottom like a basket to collect the seeds. So when you pull the end cap, the seeds are fed via gravity to a collection device, and then you could replace the cap and feed more seeds down through the top. Whatever incline that is most conducive to emptying and feeding would be fine, but just showing the floor here, the device elevated off the floor, 4 to 6 foot run, feed caps to the PVC, and obviously this, you can't see the magnets in here and everything. This just shows the structure. So anyway, that's the device in short. So the only super critical thing is to keep proper placements along the sideline of the edge of the magnet, such that the centrifugal divergent south pole magnetism is fed directly into the feed tubes where the seeds are placed in the 1.5 inch PVC tube. So this is my little invention for massive seed exposure. The reason why you could not or should not use, let me get this out of the way, should not use larger than 1.5 inch PVC is because the field spatial footprint is not large enough to accommodate, say, for example, a 3 inch PVC tube that would be full of seeds. So I know what somebody would want to do. This is for actually genetically modified non-GMO seed exposure, such that you get radically better results. This is not hokum or nonsense or BS. This works. I'm saying this not for the person that this was commissioned for, but for you guys. This works 100%. These experiments have been done over and over and over and over again by myself, but many, many countless times over and over again by Rawls and Davids. This is actually the better of the two books in a way. They don't understand magnetism in this book. You can see I've got this book highlighted to hell and back. They never understood what magnetism was, but they damn well figured out what the South Pole versus North Pole exposure changed as far as plant growth, animal growth. I wouldn't experiment on living creatures like they did. They experimented on chicken embryos and worms and countless other things. So I'm against exposing and altering living creatures, but seeds I got no problem with. So this works 100%, and this is a technology that you have never heard of anywhere, not in school, nowhere else. So anyway, this is the commissioned work and invention for an unnamed person that will be watching this video, since I'm going to point him to that. And of course, we're going to have a phone conversation, but you know, maybe I could point some stuff out in this video that he could see, since I've already forwarded these diagrams to him. And thank you so much for watching. And, yep, dropped my clipboard here. So why didn't you use a CAD program to make this? Because I'm old-fashioned. I like to draw stuff, even though I got 6 computers and I know how to. It's much easier just to whip out the old ruler and pencil. It's just a lot easier. And so that's it. If any of you guys want to build one of these, feel free. I can absolutely guarantee you 100% that the results are not only real, they're extremely real. I performed this experiment over and over and over and over again. And remember, it needs to be South Pole exposure, okay? Seed exposure, South Pole exposure, okay? Got it? If anybody else likes this video, they could click the link below and make a PayPal donation or Bitcoin donation. But this is my commissioned work for this gentleman. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.